of the nolpenki side. The standard lineups, oh, we're already into the pistol round. We're flying in, absolutely no delays to be had. The lineups are going pretty much as expected. And a push towards the A side seemed likely early on, but Needmore DM have decided to change direction and move back towards a little bit more of a slow round, taking control of A long and hoping. I like this strategy because the whole idea is they're going to delay a little bit of time, and eventually nolpenki will start to wonder: are they going B? Are they rotating to C? Where are they going? And if someone gets aggressive on A to try to find that information, they could be in trouble. That said, Vac still has his dash, so he can afford to go for a little bit of an info play and bail out pretty quickly.
Okay, well already we are going to be seeing this push coming in towards the A side. Cho already going to be left blinded, the paranoia coming in, and Vac just trying to maneuver himself around. Lots of counter utility already being expended, and it's the defenders just slamming them down. But BZT with the frenzy has found a couple back. Taijin left alone, 1 versus 3, trying to make a move around the side of the site, but it's Destrian to close things out, and it is going to be the defenders to take the first round.
It is indeed nolpenki taking the crown in round number 1. And you take a look at the composition. Just something I wanted to mention as we moved into it is that Loudly, who regularly plays on the Raze, he's gone to the breach. This is something we see again and again from the nolpenki side. By the way, I don't know if you can hear, like, there's some construction going on above me. It was someone's pipe leaked, and I found that out, Tom, because we had, I think, 4 different people who only spoke Ukrainian come to the apartment to explain to me what was happening. And we ended up playing charades, but we got there eventually. A water pipe burst. That's not an easy one in charades, I'll tell you that. Haven't seen that movie. So, I don't know if Tom can hear me or if I can hear Tom, but we're in a position where obviously starting things out, myself and Tom were supposed to be in studio together, but just due to me not feeling too well, and Max obviously not being there as well, there's a lot of, we're working with what we've got. So they're going to fix the tech issues with Tommaso. I'll take over for a little bit, bring you through the action. It's already coming in towards that C site. Boo, spraying down through the smoke. The players didn't push out afterwards. They were hit by the paranoia, and that was enough to keep them on back. I love this boost. We just don't see it enough, plain and simple. But someone's clipped off the top of the box, unfortunately. Luckily, it's the Omen, so he can always teleport up if he wants to. But that really sucks when you're standing just a little bit too close to the actual box and you get boosted up. There's like a small pixel at the top that sticks out, and it registers that like you're going to get crushed to death, so it breaks the wall instead of squashing you. But obviously that causes issues then where you got to be very careful whenever you're putting a wall down that there's nothing above you. A nice boost or not. They've lost the opening duel. And we mentioned that Vac takes a lot of aggressive stances, a lot of aggressive peaks, and it often works out. But now we go back down to the team play and see what nolpenki can pull out of the bag when they don't have their star fragger alive or able to do anything in the beginning of the round. Boo. Oh, he doesn't evade it. He's going to be pre-fired around the corner. A headshot through the wall, and he almost gets taken down after. The heel popped, and they'll take this one nice and slow. Oh, Cho, he just jumped. He made some noise as he comes through, not expecting Crazy Deer, who gets a double, shutting them down. Window control. Oh, still not looking the right way. Loudly, no. He thought maybe Crazy Deer had gone to site and helped them clear it out, but they already had full control. And with that, Boo manages to grab one that was almost a collateral.
Hello?
But he's not going to 1v5 it, is he? Hello, Tom.
You can hear me. Good, and I can hear you. Now we're cooking. We're cooking. Sorry, guys. Took a couple of rounds. I couldn't hear Mr. Mitchman, and it's very difficult to commentate with someone when you can't hear them. So I'm hoping we can get the volume and everything sorted, so it should be all good now. And we are going to watch The first round on the board, actually. Crazy Deer with a sick 4K. Someone you mentioned in the pre-show that can do a hell of a lot of damage on that Omen. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, especially on that attacking side. I think this is the one map where we basically give it over to the attackers. I think Ascent still has that sort of like, I don't really know vibe about it. But when you concentrate on this map in particular, we go, okay, the attacker should be taking the half.
Actually, just as you mentioned Crazy Deer on the Omen, this is the only map that he plays Omen on. Usually it is the Brimstone, which I was quite surprised at. But when you look towards nolpenki, Boo always plays Omen. Doesn't matter where they're at. Recently, he's just been pulling it out pretty consistently. The only change they make for Haven is a breach in instead of Raze for Loudly, which I was saying earlier on. And I'm surprised that we don't see the same thing coming through from Need More DM. We spoke about it a couple of times, how Raze isn't really an agent that, oh, that's beautiful, that thrives particularly when it comes to Haven, just because of how difficult it is. It's so big, there's so many open spaces, and so it's very difficult to catch players in a corner they can't get out of consistently. That was beautiful by Vac, though, wasn't it? I mean, you see the benefit of the Jet there. He can continue to aggress even despite the slow being down. The pre-fire. Oh, there's two players, though. They've been baited in. Joe only good for one. They know the breach was there as well. He's using his Aftershock to try and get out of there and keep them back for a moment while the rotates come through. Ooh. But Foda is able to shut him down with the shock arrows. And so we go into a 2v3. And it looks like Need More DM haven't quite made their mind up to commit towards the A site. Never mind, actually. They're just changing their avenue of approach, moving to long instead of short.
Oh, Boo's in such a spicy position. He's coming round on the flank now. Vac is going to have to deny them, but as it was said yesterday, there's not really anyone else you'd want in these situations. The first operator shot connected, and with the Sova around the corner, it's going to be a tough take back him, but he whiffs. That's a first. He's going to get healed up instantly, though, by the Sage, and chances are for Foda, there's not really a chance in this scenario. Has to hit an instant shot, and Vac is just too fast. It will be a third round onto the board for nolpenki, and when we need to see a return to prominence from the attackers.
You can see the patience of Boo. He knew he had two players on the A side, and even despite coming up on the flag and that player being spotted on A long, he didn't just W key forward to look for the frag and give the opportunity for Foda to pull that clutch off. Instead, he just kept on slowly walking, holding his angle for the fallback. And I like that. The discipline is definitely necessary. Also, you saw Vac's repositioning, right? He went around to the right side of default, both because he didn't want to be on the same angle and because it gives him a right side peek, which is obviously always going to help out a little bit when he doesn't have that dash anymore that he had to use early round. Nice opening to Crazy Deer. This is what we talked about. Vac and opening duels. Now 2 rounds in a row, he's been able to successfully pull them off. And I think, well, he's been involved in at least 3 out of 4. I can't quite remember what the first frag was in the pistol round, but 3 out of 4 of the opening rounds, he was either killed or he was the one killing, which is, it really speaks to the aggression that he plays. I don't like this angle, though. Who needs to get out of there with the paranoia? That's an interesting bug.
Yeah, nice cleanup. These are the sort of anti-eco rounds that if you're on the defending side, you want to keep clean, especially with the current like operator meta, like teams wanting to bring that sniper in as much as humanly possible. You have Vac, who pretty much has to have it every single round. Not that he can't rifle, it's more just that's what we want to be seeing from him. But a 4-1 early start, and as we sort of mentioned, this is the map where we look to the attackers to sort of set the pace, to run it down, and if they're not going to be able to pull up any rounds, I do worry. The only thing I will say is I have seen Need More DM pick up a lot of rounds on the defensive side before, so it's not like it's impossible for them.
That was an interesting pop from Vac. Didn't think you would have felt forced into using that early on. Maybe even a misclick. But he can't dash anymore. Can't get out of those fights all too quickly. Look towards the A side. Look at the presence in play. That Cam now spotted, but he saw them as well. The info communicated over. They're going to try for the rotates through. The paranoia thrown a little bit too deep, actually, as they're already up with Cho. That was through the smoke on the Crazy Deer. Oh, Boo gave away his position, but he's still able to grab himself a frag before going down. And a 4 versus 3 with a bomb still to be planted, or spike still to be planted. I go, oh! That was gorgeous by BZT. You could barely see.
Oh, but it's the Sage. The Sage has got in the backlines. This is a much bigger problem for the defense than they might realize. Taigane, as Bok pronounced it, waiting around the corner. They have absolutely no idea. The trap is sprung and even has the ice wall to hold them back behind. This gives the C site over to the attackers, evens up the scoreline once again into a 3v3, and sets them up perfectly. We're even going to see the Bladestorm pop by Vac, so he can now get into some close range angles, slightly more viable than his operator, which he had previously. Peek's going to come in, but Barcoder takes him down, ruins that ultimate, gives him no chance to use it at all. And now they're going to try and pre-fire this back angle. Boo with an entry, Barcoder with another, and now it's down to this 1v1. BZT just holding for that after plant. Now you can ping that on the map. That's exactly what his team have done. He uses the showstopper, but his opponent almost expected something of the sort, and now he's starting to panic a little bit. Boo is playing this one perfectly, but the clock will start to tick down, and he doesn't find the shots through the smoke. He gets aggressive, and the pistol does enough, Mitch. I didn't expect him to hold on to that one, but BZT stays alive and connects his classic.
Using every piece of utility at his disposal. I love it. And that's the benefit, right, of pinging on the bomb. I mean, in so many games where I'm sat there just shouting at someone, ping the bomb for me, please, someone, anyone, I have to do it myself. It's so beneficial if you're going to spam on through those smokes. I do feel like that's something that will possibly be removed, like the ability to actually mid-round actively ping like that.
I think on the map. I think if you can do it, like once you're dead, I don't think you should be allowed to ping. And also, yeah, I think if, like with the pings that you can do just by like clicking whatever bind you have, fair enough. But I think the pings giving you the ability to basically just, okay, I'm dead, I'm just gonna ping different things on the map, seems a little bit overpowered, and somewhat takes away communication, I guess. Like that's one of the exciting things about this game is you have to work as a team. If you don't need to communicate anymore because someone can just go, he's exactly here, then it's slightly cheating. Yeah, I get it. It's a cheap enough tactic. This is a bit dangerous. The camera can't spot the players coming up through long, so the peak is just about to go through by the breach, and Loudly might be getting a bit of a surprise as he comes around the... Yeah, Cho. I like his utilization of these cams, but the dart has spotted Loudly. Cho still in the corner, but he actually loses the battle. The trades come back thick and fast, but it's still the offense that gain control of the A site. I feel like that's the site that a lot of teams seem to struggle to hold, especially when we saw Party Parrots play on the attacking side just a day or two ago. They were able to get a lot of entries through long, which, I'll be honest, I feel like that should be the tougher to take, if anything, especially with how open mid can be. Vac, though, is going to try and sneak his way around the edge of the cage. Got that operator in hand. Doesn't actually take the shot. I thought he was going to pre-fire into the angle, and instead, he goes down without a fight. I need more DMs, certainly not letting up coming into this one. They've got a lot of ultimates as well. I want to talk with you quickly, Tom, just as we're seeing nolpenki take pistols out. In a round like this, I feel like there's, well, so long as you'll have money for a full buy in the next, there's never really an excuse not to buy full utility because you don't lose it if you die. And that's something I want to see removed because the risk factor just isn't there. Like, you'll buy every piece of utility. If you get the 1 or 2 opening duels, then you're great. You know, you're in a fantastic position because you can start using up your utility to bridge the gap of the weapons that you don't have on some players. I'd really like to see it that, you know, if you are buying all those, you're going to pay a pretty hefty price for them. Yeah, no, I can agree with that. I think that there is a lot less risk in a sense, and a lot of reward that can come through. Boo! That is filth. For a second, I thought he was going to connect onto the second one, but it is crazy to keep things strong, and they do get 3 players still surviving. So ultimately, money still being built. It's not the end of the world for the side of need more DM. But now they've equalized that scoreline. As said, that's what we need to be seeing from them. On the attacking side, you really do need to be putting up the sort of landslide rounds for your team. They built up a decent amount of cash, at least onto BZT, but the rest of the team might be struggling. I like the fact they actually made the decision there to sell a gun and then have him rebuy it for somebody, just to give them that extra bit of cash later on. Oh, nice little angle by Vac early on. Haven't seen it used so far in this game, so it could catch them off guard.
The thing is, if you know your angles as well, he can turn slightly to the right and dash perfectly back up long from where he is. Work a lot of practice into it to get it right, but he won't get the opportunity. BZT just shut him down.
Yeah, this is the one thing that worries me about Vac, is because he's looking for these opening picks so much, they're going to expect it. And I think that's why we need to see another level to his game, is he needs to get in the heads of his opposition. So do that for the first few rounds, take a break, sit back passive, so that they're wasting time. Because let's say he's not there, Mitch. Let's say he's not in that position this round. BZT is taking a lot of time to clear an angle that he's not even in. Obviously, he is there, so then he gets a free kill, and that's a very different scenario. But that's what you have to do as an operator player. Like, not always be aggressive. Try and almost screw with your opponent a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. You want to make them afraid of just going out and finding that map control immediately. It makes the clock matter. And you can see at the moment, even though they've taken down that operator on the opposing side, the clock is still going to be a pretty big deal. 25 seconds on the clock as they begin to move in towards the A site. And did he what? I thought Joe went on his cam, but apparently didn't see them as they came up through long. Now they're on the site. They're actually TP'd up into heaven as well. And it doesn't seem like they've even got that read. That's a massive problem.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe they have a slight idea. They've gone for the flash through, and it has caught off Crazy Deer Cho. That's an important kill to find. It evens things back up. However, are they going for this? They are grouping up together to try and make that push back through. They've worked out where all the remaining members are, but I love this. Just utilizing the Hunter's Fury to spam through, but it's actually missed a little bit. Loudly's managed to get through. It's still only going to be a trade back, but the CTs seem to be coming out on top, leaving just BZT remaining. Once again, he actually gets one. That's disgusting. And now he's timed it out. I think that's it done. He has to just try and retreat. BZT's going to win them another clutch. 3 kills for him, and of course, why not? Just close it with a pistol.
He's gotten away as well. He's carried forward the operator just about. That is disgusting. That boombot was thrown out so long ago, I basically forgot about it. In fact, so did his teammates, because I think it was Crazy Deer try to shoot. It wasn't Crazy Deer, he was already dead, never mind. But I saw one of them try to shoot it down below in hell, that they thought it was the enemies. That's pretty interesting, considering they don't have a race. Oh.
You're always prepared for the boombots, Mitch. You have to be. You have to be ready for them.
You see it, it's theirs. They don't have one, bro.
Maybe that's how I'm actually going to get rid of you for good. I'll just send a boombot into your apartment. Is there anywhere for you to hide? Get on top of the wardrobe? Ooh, okay.
There's nowhere for nolpenki to hide. That's for sure. But no, I can't reach on top of the wardrobe. I don't know why you think I could. Need a step ladder. This is planning out to be a pretty clean round. You know, economy doesn't play as much of a game here, really. As we were saying earlier, if you can afford pistols, you'll already have your utility for the next round bought up because you don't lose it. And so you can still put up a pretty decent fight. And honestly, I would put that down to why we see so many... Like, the pistols are good, don't get me wrong. But because you can bring a supportive element into it as well at no risk, I'd put that down to... why we see so many force buys actually work out and why the economy doesn't really feel like it matters. If you think about every single time that you die or you see a player die who has a full utility, but I mean, look at Destrian right now. He's got a wall, he's got 2 slows. If he dies in a system where they don't carry forward on death, that's a lot of money wasted that he has to reinvest. And it all okay, might not make a huge impact in some rounds, but if it happens every single round, then it matters a lot more. Those opening duels actually matter even more as well because you're costing them extra money on the reinvestment.
Well, yeah, I think
I feel like it's almost inevitable.
One of my favorite things about actually with the Sage and anti-eco rounds is if you do realize that your opponent's trying to exit through your direction, you can just wall them into the spike. It's brutal. I've only seen it happen a couple of times, but if you do manage to kill players just by them not being able to escape, it can be quite funny and also does a hell of a lot of damage. But look at this. Here we go. A double operator being brought up for the defense. They've had some troubles over the last few rounds. Loudly actually having a fairly quiet performance, ironically, and he's going to pick himself up another op.
Well, it's not gone well, has it? Loudly's gone immediately. Looks like he'll continue to be quiet. Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. Barcode. He's got aggressive, but he's on the cam. He's being pushed down. He doesn't realize it. That's a free kill for Cho. Oh, man. The position he was in was so great. Cho didn't initially check it as he came around, but then he turned to see someone just sat on their phone. Ooh. Boo with one. Paranoia goes out. It's not going to catch the players on site, so he's still in a bit of danger. That res is very dangerous indeed. But Destrian, he provides the covering fire to let Loudly come back alive. The aftershock through, not going to fully cover the corner. That again comes back to what we've been saying a couple of times, complimenting the likes of Scream, having those great placements for aftershocks. If that was a little bit more to the left, that would have forced the player in the open and the round would already be concluded.
I feel like that's what I call a Mitchman res, where you basically res your teammate in the open and then you bait them as they're coming back to life. Like that's what that looked like, at least to me. Like almost like a focus on this, look at this. I'm now going to go for some kills. So Destrian, hey, he did the job, and funnily enough, his teammate actually survived. So that's at least a little bit interesting. They're going to go back to the double op once again. So clearly feeling that Loudly is going to be hitting those picks. I do like to see that. I think that's one of the things that worries me a bit. If somebody is going for a certain strategy and then falls off of it because it doesn't work on one attempt.
The thing for nolpenki when I looked at their attacking side actually is that even if things are working, they change up where they're going. So they'll like push the A side, they'll get success there, then they'll go mid to B, then they'll go mid to C, then it's A side again, then C, and they're just so unpredictable in that sense because they don't say, oh, here's a weakness, let's exploit it. Maybe they change it so they'll go 1 or 2 extra rounds that way, but not on such a consistent basis that the enemy can say, oh, let's put 3 there. Stack it this round. Any kind of gamble like that is a blind gamble up against this team. Vac, we haven't got to see their attacking side yet, but Vac is just destroying them one after another. Eventually the showstopper to turn off that show, but they've got a man advantage and they can just chill out now and wait for that spike to be planted, just grief them on the way back.
Oh, it's so perfectly timed. The ultimate coming out from Breach. And Cho, he's blind, but he still gets one. It's left all onto Barcoder to try and hold on. He's found himself the first. However, the aftershock coming through, well, thinks it denies his position, but he's actually going to be able to push back and finds a kill onto Destrian. He's looking for the diffuser, but he's not quite quick enough. Loudly will defuse the spike and get the kill with the pistol as well. A little bit too close for comfort, but it is still going to be the defense taking a 6th. That
breach flash was actually perfect for his teammate, as in it blinded him. I feel like there was a little bit of miscommunication when someone dropped down out of the window and then Loudly was like, I'll flash for you, bro, but it just wasn't necessary at that point. Destrian probably could have gotten 2 kills otherwise, but hey, they won the round either way, so what can you do? Now we get to see nolpenki's attacking side, and this is the really fun part for me because it is
Big Boo.
It's just so unpredictable, so varied. I love seeing that. And as well, I already mentioned Boo. When he's on the Omen on the attacking side, he's coming behind you all the times, even without his TPs.
He's up to mischief. I think that's the best way to put it. He's that kid that's just going to be doing something. The second he goes quiet, you know that there's a problem. It will be the flash. And actually, Vac's just going to boost himself forward and find the opener onto Crazy Deer. There's nobody else even close to the action. It was a 3-man A-stack initially for the side of Need More DM, and now this is a real problem because the time is going to be ticking for quite a while before the full squad actually gets into position. Tigane as well, just sort of holding the line. We are going to see the nades thrown into position to try and clear out that back corner, and it does work. It's still just going to be the trade, though, as again, it goes backwards and forwards. They've spotted at least one man, but the shot slightly being missed by both players, so it puts us back into a potential position. I didn't expect BZT to get that kill. Cho, however, he's now the lurker. Misses his initial shot, but they still don't seem to realize where he is, and at this point, the spike is too far gone. Boo just playing this perfectly, the lurk position, and eventually closes the round.
What I'll say about Vac is that he can shoot, he can op, he can do absolutely everything, including count. Because he just walked up in that smoke, counted to 13, and then dashed forward. Absolutely nothing Crazy Deer could do. That's the problem with spamming, right? If your opponent's keeping track of your ammo, It's just like the M1 Garand, right? The way it goes cling
isn't
it's out.
That what Deadpool
they know.
always says? Like in the films, he's like, "Do you not count your shots?" Like it's like the beginning of the movie where he's just dodging and he goes, "All right, 5," and then he just peeks. It is perfect, but that's exactly what he does there. And I think there's a reason why people are a big fan of Vac already. Some people even questioning him because he's that good. But I think that's something that's always been classic with young, talented individuals is, he's not better than me. He can't be better than me. Like, well, it must be something else.
Oh, exactly. We know certain Brazilians that think that way on a daily basis.
Well, to be honest, I play against thousands every single day because no one could be better than me, Mitch, you know? Every day. Damn, I play a lot.
Well, there you go. Well, look at this. Grouping up to push the C side again. 4 players through long. I complimented them on their varied approach. And this time they went out for map control first, but then it's right back into the C push. When you're up against this kind of buy, though, you're never really going to be too worried. Vac's gone in for just the Ghost. That's going to give him a lot of cash then to play with coming into the next round and presumably going for the very early operator. He might not be able to get that. Like, really for him, he wants to save over the armor as well. So I would almost avoid fights at this point, especially because he's got the weaker weapon.
Eagle-eyed.
Yeah, on the other side, though, this is a chance for Cho to pad some stats. I always like on the offense seeing a lurking Cypher. I think it's something that can be so effective. I think we've seen Rhyme do that quite regularly on the attacking side of Haven. He's not going to be your top fragger for the majority of the matches, but he is going to make sure that no one gets in behind you, not only using all of the utility, the tripwires, and of course the cages in case he gets in trouble, but more importantly, just he seems to get the timing right. And again, like David P actually did that quite well on the Sage yesterday, just being able to find positions and not necessarily kill everybody off, but just get a kill, fall away, and then always in the back of your mind, they're like, where is David P? We haven't killed David P. We haven't seen David P. And that's where it's a bit more of an issue.
We've seen a couple of players adopt the roaming Sage, right? Like the Lurker as the Sage
Link
agent.
as well.
And that's quite interesting.
There.
Sorry?
Link as well.
Oh, Link. Yes, I missed it there with the game sound. But yeah, it's quite interesting to see that's an approach, because on the attacking side, you know, looking at Sage as an agent, you would always want her to be the one that's behind the team, popping those heals off. Defensive side, you can do like a little bit of a different approach. I mean, Looker with the operator certainly stands out. Oh, the paranoia, it's answered back on. Crazy Deer ready for the fights. Oh, re-peeking it as well, even with the slow coming through. Looking to get out of there alive and has the heal afterwards. So it's only the armor now that he's missing.
Yeah, they started this off as a retake C setup with Crazy Deer actually on the outside. Looking like they're going to try and boost up the whole team, but the counter smoke actually comes out from Vac, and Loudly's caught another. Again, back and forth we go. And ending up actually with the offense in a good position. The shock dart over the top, something Foda uses so well, already clears the first, and Destrian just trying to hold on. The Spectre, not ideal for this. It comes down to Cho, that man on the lurk, facing off against Foda on the other side. I've always praised how good he's been with the Sova, but he's just going to stick this, at least get it to halfway, make the defuse faster, and he hits the shot as well. It will be a round coming up for the defense, ever so close in the end, but we sit 8-7, and I'm loving this, Mitch. This is as close as a game can get.
Oh, yeah. We're keeping it nice and contentious early on. I mean, that lead that nolpenki have is exclusively off winning the pistol round, which came down to a really nice opening by Vac. That can happen, but when it comes to gun rounds, things take a turn in a different direction. I won't say for the worst, necessarily.
Here.
And for nolpenki, they're yet to find their exit and the one that's going to work for them.
I love being able to see the pings. Just where these players are actually looking to spot initially. The slow thrown into the window, and BZT is actually going to be playing onto A long this round. Now, I want to see if that's something that he does consistently, because a lot of the time you will see a roaming operator player on this map, mainly because it's necessary. I think Mixwell's one that we always sort of highlight, but for a very good reason. Vac, in the meantime, looking to try Pressure into mid. Doesn't have a whole lot of support, but the breach is just behind in the form of Loudly, who might be able to pop flash him in through the wall. Instead, Foda is actually going to gather up quite a bit of information. They know that mid has been pressured, and this might cause for a rotation, but if it does, it's a little bit far behind. They're really expecting Foda to hold the line here. The push from Loudly, though, is very risky, and Foda will get them the initial advantage.
Oh my god, Taijin pulling it straight on back with a double that was so damn clean. Things are looking pretty good for Need More DM now. This is a setup we complimented before. We saw Screen do it, but Boo now in the position down towards bottom middle. Oh, gets a distraction perfectly. Chose up behind to shut down the diffuser. Failed back, and now they know there's two players. They know where they are, but they can't do a damn thing about stopping these peaks. Down below, Boo gets barcoder and easily connected onto Crazy Deer. That was so well played by Cho. I mean, I love the setup when you have the spike planted in that position to have one window and then one up close in the cubby. But to wrap around and just use the paranoia as a delay, that's a really, really good usage of utility.
Yeah, I love it. That was so sick, especially because the paranoia basically gave Cho the extra time he needed not to have to run, because that would have been the main issue. If there's no paranoia in that situation, he hears the tap. Either we have to get a wide peek out from Boo in the window, or you have to get Cho run, and then that gives away the whole game. Instead, he slowly walks in, free kill, and then Boo re-peeks. They played that one so perfectly. We're seeing the synergy from these Lithuanians so far, and they're edging themselves ever closer to that magic number 13. Of course, always been lucky. A bit like your luck, really, Mitch.
Yeah, pretty much. Earlier today, I predicted Need More DM to win this one, so, I mean, it should be no surprise if nolpenki take it 2-0. Been cursing all the teams since day one. They're coming up to double digits. Like, look at this. The spike's been down. There's, what, 30 seconds left to get in there, and only at this point are they starting to move in towards the site itself on those pistols. But Foda's got a good exit. I mean, that weapon surely not going to be committed towards this retake, I say, as I see him start to move towards the site, looking for short control or a fight. Good flash by Loudly. Hasn't got anything to follow up on it with, though. Instead, it's going to be straight up aim duels, and although they're getting some damage done, this round feels like it's pretty much out of their grasp. Foda gets shut down from behind, and with that, hold on, that could be it. VZT spraying away, and although time is gone, he's managed to shut down the economy. Killing all 5 players is huge. Boosting over. Oh, no, he was just an inch. Did he get it? No.
No,
I saw the dragon. I thought maybe that was it.
Oh, that was so sick. Like, sure, it was a round that ultimately went the way of the Lithuanian side, but that's as much damage as you can really expect in an anti-eco round. And BZT right at the end, I feel like he earned the operator. I feel like the game should have just delayed until he picked it up, because that was just mean. Like, he earned that gun. 10-7 though, Vac looking like he's going to take that same battle once again. But as said, this is what we want to see for an operator player, a little bit more of a switch up. However, it's expected. The dart from Cho is going to leave him in an awkward spot. However, BZT still standing, and Achi's going to pop the ultimate as well. He denies them complete sewers control, and Barcoder's already closed out another. It's left all onto one man, Boo. And unfortunately, there's not much he can do.
You scared me, Tom. Why would you do that?
I wondered what you're doing there. I'll be honest, that caught me off guard.
Well, yeah, Boo looking to give them a nice little surprise, but they know where he is now. And although he gets the first, BZT was further back with the operator ready to shut him out and put 10-8 on the board. The defenders are now Need More DM. Just 2 behind. Again, not letting the lead go massively in favor of nolpenki, but if they keep trading back and forth, well, things aren't going to end in their favor. For the attackers, I mean, they've got a lot of ults online, but so do Need More DM.
Well, yeah, this is actually quite interesting, really, having this many ultimates. Of course, the one we just saw used was really well done, actually, like by BZT, because that's a really tough position to actually hold on to, especially with an operator. So the fact that he gets so much work done definitely excites me. Like, well, we know that we're always going to up the operator players, especially when they are the stars of the show within these two teams. But again, we go back to the basics. What was successful before? It was the seaside take, but they don't expect Crazy Deer to be in the site. That's a bit of an overlook for the aggressing side. And Mocho, he's now in this lurk role. It's not worked out, but that's a big mistake. Now, I know, of course, where he's been playing previously, Crazy Deer, that paranoia probably would have caught him out because he was on the edge of the site. But he switches it up once, and that's enough for the whole round to fall apart.
Tom, with it going so quickly into a 10-9. And nolpenki gonna start to get worried? Is this where they get a little bit shaky? I mean, we've seen that dash already by Vac to try and punish Crazy Deer. It was in the pistol round where he fired off all his bullets through the smoke and ended up being dropped. So now, to be able to bite back and punish Vac for it, I'm sure feels good. We got the full buy coming through, but BZT with another great opening. He has been on fire so far.
That was filth. That was like a split second so fast. I barely even saw it come through. It looks like there was a temptation to res loudly, but they've decided not to. They're like, nah, save it for someone else. Don't really need it. But again, it's sort of like the U style of play. Like, you only bring back specific people. It's getting very aggressive, though. Taijin pushing down mid and already managing to close things out. And we're back to level pegging, Mitch. 10-10. The defenders actually putting up a damn good fight once more.
Considering the pistol win going to nolpenki, don't think you can really be all too disappointed with the Need More DM performance. Was it they found both pistols as well, right? Followed up versus the Eco. So that's 4 rounds for free off the bat. When it came down to buy rounds, which is all that remains more or less, Need More DM have looked like the better team. I feel like we can't put that much pressure on him really, but Vac isn't showing up to the same degree we've normally seen. I mean, he had opportunities coming up behind them, having already popped his ultimate, and the knives just missed. Gave them a little bit of a haircut, but that's all. We've seen the dashes used a little bit too aggressively in the early peaks be punished. And I put a lot of that down to BZT. He has been so damn solid in taking those early fights and bringing them straight back to Vac with a mass amount of vengeance and fury.
Yeah, I think with the amount he's been able to get away with, that's always the worry for me, especially on the attacking side. He's someone who has fallen flat in the past. I remember that in the qualifier, that he became almost a liability for the squad because he was getting picked so much with the fights that he was willing to take. A man clearly never losing any confidence. Oh, and that is Phil! What? Straight through the smoke. Couldn't see a thing, but, well, clearly he knew something was up. Tiger has also found a triple again. We're seeing some big men step up for the side of Need More DM. The Hungarians doing some great work. But even though it was the other player on the team to get a triple kill, how does he know? What has he seen that I haven't?
That's mad, man. I mean, we're talking about BCT's ability to take those early fights, to win those opening duels. That wasn't a duel. That was he just shot through a smoke and got the kill. This is ridiculous.
That was an assassination. I think that's what we have to call it. That was just one man basically just being able to pull out something that never should really be possible. BZT again.
Oh, the nade.
He's loving those paint shells. Like, whenever he has to fall back, it's almost like a gut reaction of, okay, well, I didn't kill you, so I'm at least going to hurt you or push you out of position. Again, the boom bot goes out. Using a lot of his utility early, though. Of course, going to keep one of those packs just to try and get him out of position if necessary. But he's actually snuck a teammate into the corner. I don't know if this will be expected. However, the attacking side are actually falling off. In fact, waiting, but he still can't find the shot. BZT is just too quick.
The timing. He just came out of the scope as BZT peeked. He saw his shoulder, tried to scope back in, but it was too late. The Red, what are you doing walking through that, Joe? What was that? Why? This is just madness at this point. Giving him an opening duel, you know that he's going to take every single one. He's now found 2, and even with the res up, they're at a 2-man disadvantage. nolpenki got to do so much work. Taijin on the site. He's been huge, so he's stuck.
What?
He's dead in that aftershock. Great usage of Sage and Breach together to get loudly that frag, and they need kills at this point because now they're in a 3v3. This is a workable position for them. Great shot, Garo, to at least deal some damage, but that damage doesn't make it a million times easier. This drone or this recon arrow, if he can manage to spot them, that could be massive.
BZT again, waiting on that close angle, and of course he's going to connect his 3rd kill of the round. It will be Destrian to trade things back, an important frag to find, but now it's left all onto one. Destrian to clutch, and Barcoder will not allow it. A quick double back into the site, and it will be map point now for the side of Need More DM. They are dragging this one through, kicking and screaming, and that one was made pretty close considering how this started off. It was an initial kill, a res, and then another pick straight back. I don't think he realized that he was just through. I think that was the main issue with the cage. I think he was still just on the edge of it, maybe waiting for somebody to push, and instead just a little peekaboo through the front, and well, goodbye.
We really wanted to highlight that Cho shouldn't have pushed through that cage.
Production is savage.
Showed it enough times. Just FYI.
FYI,
don't do that.
Yeah. Don't do that.
Let's show it 10 times. Get the slow-mo. Get the zoom in.
Okay.
Get the like fade to black with the at this moment.
Oh, that's big. That's a lot of
so
information.
What? He spotted 2 of them with 1. What?
That's what you call tech.
He only shot 1 of them. Can you collateral with the drone?
I don't know. But
I mean, you must be able to.
Oh, here we go. This is where things get really tough for the defensive side, but Barcode has done a great job. Stunned in the back of the site. The push still yet to really come in. They're trying to make their way through the sewers, but they've got stuck. Boo, however, with an aggressive position, still only manages 1. And BZT's there again. Even the ultimate at the end is perfectly positioned. It will be the victory coming up for Need.